Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the All Things Leeds podcast, the ATL Podcast. I am Ed, as always, and as ever, I am joined by Charles Foster. How are you, Charles?
I'm fine, thanks, Ed.
Busy week?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, good week where Leeds United win.
It's always a good week when Leeds win.
Yeah. Well, of course, in this episode, we will be digesting Leeds' incredible win, incredible 1-0 win over Sheffield United away at Bramall Lane. That was Leeds' first win there since April 1992, would you believe? And of course, Liam Cooper got injured in that game, so we'll be talking about that and whether we need to bring in a new centre-back in January. Patrick Bamford and Izzy Brown featured for the under-23s last Friday, so we'll be discussing that as well. We'll also discuss the return of Pawel Cibicki after his loan spell ended. There's also some unfortunate news regarding the Leeds United Ladies, as the captain suffered a broken leg during their cup game at the weekend where they won 4-3. We'll go over that very quickly, and then we'll preview this Saturday's game against QPR, who we of course drew in the FA Cup third round. So all of that is coming up. Well, I guess we'll start with Leeds United's incredible win at the weekend on Saturday, where they beat Sheffield United 1-0 at Bramall Lane. As I said, it's the first win since April 1992. It's a massive win, isn't it?
Yeah, my dad were there for that game, actually. That's how long ago it was. Yeah, it was quite a massive win. But I think that makes it sound worse than it was, because we haven't played them that often since 1992, because they've never been in our league. We were in the Premier League, then they were in the Championship, and then we were in the Championship and they were in League One. So I think we've only played them 6 or 7 times since 1992, so it's not that bad. It's still a long time.
First time we beat Sheffield United since September 2010 as well. Just puts into perspective how difficult, how difficult it's been for Leeds beating Sheffield United, and it just makes this win even more important, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've not had a good record against them in general, and especially not at their place. So it's an important win, because we need to beat the teams around us if we're going to be up there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the game. So it wasn't the best of games overall, I don't think. A lot of people saying it was a fantastic game. I disagree with that. The first half was shocking, especially. Leeds created barely anything, but second half were much better from Leeds, I felt.
We couldn't establish any dominance in the midfield or on the ball. Every time we got the ball, we tried to break, and we would lose momentum, usually through one player who got taken off half time.
Yeah. I thought it was a slow start. Sheffield United were definitely on top for the first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, they were. They always start well. We said that in our preview of the game, didn't we? That they would start well and we would need to ride it out. And we did ride it out. I thought we defended well. That was one thing you could say about the first half. We did defend well. Yeah.
Peacock Fowler, he kept us in the game though, didn't he? With that save from McGoldrick very early on.
Yeah, that was a good save. I thought the save off Henderson from Halm was better though.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a better save.
Yeah, that was after Halm. He came on for Liam Cooper, who we'll discuss in a bit. Yeah. But Halm, he had an opportunity 5 minutes later and he almost scored. That was a good save.
Cracking save. Although I think the defender had that on the line. There was a defender on the line as well. If Henderson had missed that, I reckon that'd still been stopped. But it was still a good effort.
I mean, Henderson had a good game really, apart from that mistake later on, which we will go on to. But I felt both keepers had a decent game. But Peacock Fowler, he did make me nervous though, because like I said in the match report, he'll be full of confidence from that penalty save, but maybe too confident, because every time they delivered a ball into the box, he'd come out to try and get that, and half the time was in no man's land, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had an interesting performance. Like for shots, if you just looked at his shot stopping on his performance, it was good. He made a couple of really good saves, but his cross collection and on set pieces, he was flapping on 2 or 3 occasions, which you can't really afford to do, otherwise players like Billy Sharp will bury you.
Yeah, I mean, after the first 20 minutes or so, we kind of grew into the game. After Halm's chance, we kind of grew into the game a bit more even. Like I said, though, we didn't really create anything. They created quite a lot, but half the time Billy Sharp was offside when the ball was whipped into the box for him.
And it didn't get given. He was offside twice.
The flag was never up.
No. And in fact, I think at one point when McGoldrick should have scored, and he blasted it over the bar.
And he gave a free kick to us for some reason.
I think it was a foul on Peacock Fowler. But there wasn't a foul on Peacock
Fowler. There wasn't at all.
But Billy Sharp was offside.
Yeah, I mean, the commentators on Sky were as confused as anyone else. Linesman did put his flag up for offside, and then referee saw a free kick out of nowhere.
The officials were poor.
Yeah, very poor. And I mean, Sheffield United, they were a dirty team on Saturday. Shirt pulling all the time, but they should have been down to probably 8 men in that first half. McGoldrick should have been sent off on his challenge on Mateusz Klich, I felt. What's your take on that?
Yeah, people are saying that it was a definite red card. I mean, if you look at it, if you get all the angles that we had, then the ref would have no doubt given it. From what I saw, the ref was positioned behind Klich, and McGoldrick was the other side of Klich, so he only saw the back of Klich. I don't think he could see it properly. I think he probably saw Klich go down and assumed it was just, he's overreacting it to win a free kick.
Yeah.
But if he'd have seen it, if he'd have been 2 or 3 yards to his right, he'd have seen McGoldrick's.
The ref had a perfect view of it. There's no reason as to how he didn't see that.
But I thought, from what I saw, he looked to be just stood kind of he was a few yards behind Klich, and he was almost square to him. Maybe that's the only reason I can think of why he would not give that.
Yeah. But definite red card though, card
absolutely.
challenge. I mean, his studs were up, went over, the foot of Mateusz Klich, went over the ball, and could have really done some serious damage there.
Yeah, if it had, it could have been a bit of a leg break if it had put more weight into the challenge. But
yeah, and it's a thing that we don't need as well. More injuries, we don't need that, and we were reckless.
Yeah, it was reckless. It was dangerous, and officials are supposed to be there to keep the game fair and for player safety, and that they didn't do either of that with that challenge.
Yeah, and the referee Oliver Langford, he was so inconsistent. I mean, there was, Enda Stevens and John Egan. They both should have got 2 yellow cards in that first half, but they didn't. Stevens, I think his second foul was when he clipped Dallas
on the halfway line.
And it was a definite yellow card, but referee. It was like, he's already been booked. I'm going to bottle. He bottled it really. They both should have been sent off with 2 yellow cards.
Yeah, it was very poor. I mean, and we were breaking as well. I mean, kind of, it was a goal. I won't say it was a goal scoring opportunity. It was a chance creation opportunity, and it was ruined. And I don't know whether it was John Egan. I think it was John Egan on Klich when he just dragged him down. Like, he literally just grabbed his shirt and threw himself to the floor so he'd pull him down. And that was given as a foul, but not as a yellow card.
Yeah.
And Klich was breaking there as well.
Yeah, and where the referee, where he should have given yellow cards, he didn't. But then where he shouldn't have given the yellow cards, he did, because there was a point where Kemar Roof, he was standing his ground, and he turned his back around, not in a malicious way, to avoid a face-to-face collision. That's why he turned around. And a foul, yeah, fair enough, but a yellow card for that?
No, it wasn't a yellow card. I mean, when you look back at it, Roof does throw a little bit of weight back towards the defender to knock him flat. But so maybe you could argue for a foul, but you can't argue for a yellow card. You just stand in your ground.
Yeah, and it's a problem that we have in the Championship and the EFL. Poor referees. I mean, we're one division down from one of the best leagues in the world, the Premier League, and the referees are just so poor and so inconsistent.
Because I think what's to do with that is that a lot of kind of referees that have very poor games in the Premier League, like your Mike Deans and other referees, end up as a punishment for kind of ruining a Premier League game, end up officiating a Championship game for a couple of weeks, and it just means that we get worse referees that make. But having said that, though, Mike Dean actually did have a good game for us, so I'm not going to actually moan about.
Yeah, Mike Dean was one of the best referees we've had in a long time,
which is weird.
Yeah, and he had a few big decisions that he got right in that game. But I mean, the referee at the weekend just highlighted how big of a problem, and it needs looking at, doesn't it?
It does need looking at, because it's just ruining the game. You can't have poor officials in games.
So many times this season as well, we've had referees come to Hell Road and they've been doing everything to try and not make Leeds win. Cast my mind back to the game against Brentford.
Yeah, Jeremy Simpson was awful.
Yeah.
Although we have, in the interest of balance, we have actually had some good referees. Thought Sheffield United away, we had a good referee. He was good. Sorry, not Sheffield United. Sheffield Wednesday away.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday away. He was a good referee. I mean, you could argue he was maybe a little bit lenient, but he was consistently lenient. He let things go on either side.
I mean, if a referee's bad, you want him to be consistently bad, but it's when they're inconsistent. That's what drives me mad. But it needs looking at desperately, because it's just so poor. But as we said, poor officiating in first half, but it wasn't the best of first half really, particularly on Leeds' point of view. But in the second half came round, we were so much better in that second half.
Yeah, I thought first 5, maybe possibly 10 minutes of the second half, they come out slightly brighter, but then I think from about 55 minutes to about 70 odd minutes, we were much the better team.
Yeah. quite a big reason with that was Jack Clarke, who of course came on at half-time for Alioski, which seems to be the thing that we always see every single game now. And Jack Clarke, he made such a big difference. I mean, you mentioned it, 55 minutes. On 55 minutes, he had a good chance where right-footed shot when he linked up well with Click, and he tested the keeper as well, but the keeper got to it. But Jack Clarke was just immense in that game.
Well, he's a proper winger, and that's what we've lacked at Leeds for a couple of seasons, because Alioski's inconsistent at best. Pablo Hernandez is not quite fast enough, I think, anymore to be constantly playing as a proper wide man, and so Jack's perfect for what we need him to do, which is run at fullbacks.
Yes, Jack Clarke. I mean, I think a lot of Leeds fans will want him to start, but I was, on drive up here, I was questioning, if you start him. I mean, every time he's come on for the second half, at the end of the game, he's always looked shattered. So it's like, if you start him, do you want him? If he's going to be shattered by half time, do you really want him? Want to start him?
I don't feel we can sacrifice the first half of every game in the interest of Jack Clarke's fitness. I think what we should do is start him in games, and then if he's blowing at the start of or puffing at the start of the second half, take him off, then stick Alioski on. Hopefully by then we've already created enough chances, maybe got a goal or two, and we're comfortable. And then Alioski's positive attributes, like his defensive capabilities, really could help us out to see the game out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alioski defensive-wise is good, but I think, we can all admit that we'd prefer to see Jack Clarke playing the wing rather than Alioski.
I think he should, I would prefer Jack Clarke to start.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, much better second half from Leeds, but Sheffield United still had a fair few chances. Number 6, third minute, Happer Halm. A lot of people saying Happer Halm had a very good game. I didn't. I mean, he was chucked in at the deep end, really, if you consider, it's his second senior appearance away at Sheffield United, and he came on, for unfortunate circumstances. But, a lot of people saying he had a fantastic game. I didn't feel he did. He certainly held his own, but... there are a lot of times where he gave the ball away too easily, or he misplaced a pass. But what do you make of him?
I thought he had a solid game. I thought when it came to keeping Billy Sharp quiet, he did very well, because I think Sharp decided to target him as soon as he came on. From 20 minutes, he decided to target him immediately. But and he didn't really have any effect. He didn't kind of make him buckle or make him fall apart. In fact, I thought Harm did a job on Sharp to a great degree. But yeah, like you say, that point where he set up McGoldrick's chance. This is one in the second half, which he should have scored. Yeah. And again, Bailey Peacock-Farrell, that was a good save.
Yeah, we saw the best and worst of Peacock-Farrell in this game, didn't we? Two cracking saves in both halves.
Yeah, that was a good save. Although I don't know why he went for it with his leg and not his hand, but whatever. If you keep the ball out.
Yeah, I mean, McGoldrick should have scored, but Bailey Peacock-Farrell just stood up tall and just, strong save with his feet. And I felt as though, shot stopping, Peacock-Farrell's all right. But then when it comes to decision making in the box and commanding of his area, that's where I think his game lacks.
I can't remember I heard who said this. They said that basically when Peacock-Farrell has to think about and make a decision, he tends to make the wrong choice. When it's kind of reflex or instinctive, he tends to always make the right choice. Yeah. Like when he's required to make a reflex stop or something like that, he's a good keeper. But when it comes to making a decision with regards to like a wall or whereabouts he should be positioned, or whether or not to come out for a cross, he tends to make the wrong choice most of the time.
But I mean, he's still young, and that part of the game's only going to improve, and he is only going to improve as a goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, it's much harder to improve the reflex and kind of part of your game than it is the decision making. Decision making can be taught. Yeah, it's a skill to learn.
Yeah, but I mean, Peacock-Farrell felt as though it was okay. Upper Halm certainly held his own, but I don't feel, like you said, he had a solid game. He had a solid game defensively, but he did give quite a lot of balls away, which, But I'm more than comfortable with Upper Halm stepping in whenever he needs to. But then, shortly after that, Kemar Roof Mr. Glorious chance, didn't he, when Dallas crossed it in and header aiming for the top right hand corner but went just wide. And I'm looking at that and it's like, at the start of the season, it probably could have been a goal.
Possibly, yeah. That was kind of the period when we had a bit of sustained pressure because we were constantly getting in their third. I think Click had it in their box and then gave it back out to Dallas, and it was just kind of a first time crossing, and he found Roof well, and his header was actually, it was a good header. He was only about maybe half a foot wide. It was not far wide. He almost hit the post. So,
much better second half from us. But with 10 minutes to go, when we went 1-0 up. Now before the goal, you probably would have thought if it is going to drag out to be 0-0, which was looking likely, and then a draw probably would have been a fair result. But when we went 1-0 up, I was, so like happy because we're obviously gone ahead. But I thought we were well worth our lead.
For the period of dominance that we had in the second half, I thought we were worth it. I'd have preferred it to come from a moment of brilliance from us than a mistake.
Rather than a mistake. Yeah, I mean, it was a awful back pass to the goalkeeper, and he failed. I don't know what Dean Henderson were doing really. Was he trying to pass or clear?
It was an overhit back pass from Egan, and he was rushing to get to it to stop it going out. And you think if he makes the right choice there, he just knocks it out for a corner. That's what you should do in that scenario.
He passed it straight to Jack Clark. That's what he did. No player who could pass to it. He certainly wasn't going to go past Jack Clark, and there was no power in it to suggest that he wanted to clear it right over the field. It was just absolutely bizarre.
I think it panicked him. I think the press from Clark panicked him into making the choice.
Yeah.
I think he passed it while he was still running as well, so he couldn't get any power on it. He was still running, and he sliced it really.
Yeah.
And it wasn't straight to Clark, because I think Clark still had to ball roll it to turn it fast enough to whip it over, which is a good bit of skill actually. And if Clark had hit it across the floor, it would have been stopped because Henderson had his leg out.
Yeah, commentators were pointing that out. Is that if it was just straight on the floor, keeper would have got it. But a really good assist from Jack Clark. I'm so pleased that I got an assist as well because he's such a good player, and that assist will undo him so much better going forward.
I would love him to get a goal though at some point. I would love him to score, but still you can't have everything. Assists are fine for wingers. I'll take assists.
Pablo Hernandez, composed finish. I know it was an open net, but I mean, still not very easy. The pressure that he's under. Composed finish really.
First time as well.
Yeah,
didn't know touch. He got interviewed after the game, and he said basically, I didn't know if I was being closed down or not. I didn't know who was around me, and I saw the defender going towards the line because there was a defender that almost got there.
Yeah.
And he thought, I've got it with this first time. He said, I almost mishit it because it kind of clipped him a little bit under his foot as well.
Yeah, that's why when it went in, I was like, because we were watching Pablo Hernandez, and it's like, he didn't set himself up, right here. But obviously, when we go 1-0 ahead, everyone's absolutely buzzing. I didn't see this coming, but two, when it did go in, I was like, you know what, we have been really good this half. So
goals a goal, they all count the same.
Yeah.
And it's 3 incredibly valuable points away at a promotion rival. So
yeah, and that's up for exciting and nervy last 10 minutes. Pick up foul again coming to Leeds' rescue when there was a cross going in. It was going to land on McGoldrick's head, but pick up foul came out to punch it out, and that was a good decision from him. But then we got let off. Really, we were let off quite a lot of times in this game throughout. Especially the first half, but towards the end when Connor Washington from a corner, he set himself up for that overhead kick, and it hits the crossbar. I was it was so nervy.
I was a heart beating fast, bit of a wreck. I was a bit. I was worried. I wanted the game to end. I would have loved to get to have taken a point before the game, but going 1-0 up in the 82nd minute, if we'd have drawn the game like that, I'd have been gutted. I really would have been gutted. But we held out. The bar came to our rescue.
Yeah, we held on. First win at Bramall Lane since April 1992, and that was our title-winning season. Who knows? We couldn't win titles this season now. But of course, we went top at league for 2.5 hours. But then Norwich ended up beating Rotherham. Rotherham were 1-0 ahead though. So I was like looking at it, was like, Rotherham, they're going to do us a favour here, and that's going to be massive. But obviously Norwich turned it around, 1-3-1. We remain in second. But Brentford, vital point away at West Brom, and that's massive for us.
Cheers, Brentford. No, it's because we're always on Sky. We're usually on the early kickoff, so the amount of times that we've gone top of the league for like a matter of hours, and then Norwich beat some kind of team in 22nd place to go back first, because for some reason Norwich are playing all the teams at the bottom of the league in a series of a few weeks. I mean, I know we're playing a few down there teams, but they seriously they've got like a run of like 6 games where they're playing kind of 18th or below.
Yeah.
And then in January they've got a run where they're playing everyone in the top 8,
including us.
Yeah. So I don't know who's done the scheduling there, but they maybe should have mixed it up slightly.
Yeah, but so when Norwich, I saw Norwich score, and I was like, But Brentford, they did us a favour on Monday night when they got that late equaliser.
Lucky one.
Brom. Yeah, lucky. West Brom were definitely the better team in that game. Probably should have scored a lot more. But Brentford, crucial draw there. And not only Brentford, Aston Villa as well. They thrashed Middlesbrough at the Riverside 3-0.
Yeah, Middlesbrough under Pulis they're starting to realise his limitations as a coach, especially in an attacking sense. And if with Pulis, if you're not scoring goals, like he eventually stopped scoring goals when he was at West Brom, and when he was at Palace. Once he stopped scoring goals, the defensive side of his game starts to go as well. Like 3-0, and 2 of the goals were from set pieces, which is where Pulis teams are supposed to be strong.
Yeah.
And they're conceding 2 goals from set pieces. It's just and Villa weren't even that good. They weren't even brilliant. They were just all right. Borough were just really poor.
Yeah, and we got Villa just before Christmas as well. That's going to be.
I'm worried about that one.
Quite a tough game. I mean, I guess it's like one of them cases where you don't know. It depends what Villa team turns up, because they could score quite a lot past you or concede a lot. But I'm still worried about that one. That's the toughest one in our lead up to Christmas. But you know what? Let's just enjoy it now. 3 wins in a row, 3 clean sheets in a row, 4 wins out of our last 5, and in the space of a week, 9 points out of 9. Fantastic form we're in, and I say it all the time. Momentum is key in this division, and we're certainly taking that into this weekend, which we'll get on to a bit later.
Yeah, it's the first perfect week we've had this season. For no goals conceded, 4 goals scored, 3 wins.
Yeah, and I saw Andrew Stats Dalton, who I interviewed quite a few weeks ago. You can check out the All Things Leeds YouTube channel.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. But I saw a tweet, and it was like, we're second in the league, 4 points safe inside the top 2, and we haven't had a fully fit team all season.
No, it's quite. I think first. I think Stoke home derby where we had
Forshaw was still out.
Was he still out?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
we haven't had a fully fit team all season.
That's ridiculous.
And we're in such a good place, and like I said, thank you to Villa and Brentford. We are 4 points clear in the top 2, so we can afford to lose this weekend's game. But obviously, you won't want, and you won't expect that. But we're in fantastic place right now, and I'm enjoying watching Leeds. It's brilliant to see. But we'll move on to Liam Cooper, who of course got injured against Sheffield United. We don't know yet how long he's going to be out for, but it doesn't look good. And Marcel Bielsa said in his press conference after the game that it was a serious injury. It's not a ligament injury, but it is a serious injury. Not good news at all, is it?
No, it's not good news. I mean, every single defender in our back line has been injured at some point this season. Douglas was out with a hamstring strain. Janssen was out with a problem with his ankle. Cooper's already been out for the Swansea game, and now he's out again. Ayling's out until January. Berardi's out until February. We've had everyone has been unfit at some point.
Yeah, and it always seems to be defenders as well who are getting injured at the moment.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be more attacking players because they get fouled more often, but a lot of our injuries are defensive players getting injured when they're going in for tackles.
Yeah.
There always impacts injuries from slide tackles or challenges, but it's bad news.
Yeah, I mean, Liam Cooper, he's been so good this season as well, so much more improved. You said last week if there's Phillips is so much improved than Marcel Bielsa, but so is Liam Cooper. In fact, everyone is really, but Liam Cooper, he stands out for me this season. He's fantastic this season. So if he's going to be out for a long time, he's going to be a big loss.
He is going to be a big loss, especially with him being captain. We need him. We need him fit.
Yeah.
I think Hernandez will probably take over as captain up until he's back.
Oh, Phillips.
I wouldn't expect so. When Cooper went off in the game, Hernandez was made captain, and then when Hernandez went off, Dallas was made captain. So, I think Dallas has been here for what seems like forever, but I think it's only been about 4 years. Hernandez is obviously the most experienced and senior player in the team. I wouldn't expect Calvin Phillips to get captaincy.
Is that Helm starting for you then over the next few weeks while he's out?
I would have him because I like Phillips in the midfield. I think we miss his kind of 50-yard Paul Scholes type balls over the top every now and again when we're attacking.
Yeah, I'd much rather. Phillips is so much better in defensive midfield role, although he can play centre back as we've seen over the past few games. But Liam Cooper out for a long time, terrible news. But you would expect Helm, and I'm more than happy. Like I said, Helm didn't have the best games against Sheffield United, I don't think, but I'm more than fine with him going in. He looks like first game against Bristol City, you look like he'd played a few championship games already. So I'm more than happy. But do we need centre-back in January? January's coming up, January's transfer window. Do we need a centre-back?
We needed a centre-back in August. We definitely need one in January. We need one. We're so light at the back. If we're having to regularly play players who've only played twice in the senior team, we need a centre back.
It seems as though so many people. I mean, some people are split like right down the middle, but quite a lot, quite a majority are like, we need a centre back. But Bielsa's, it would be interesting to see what he says in his press conference ahead of the QPR game on Saturday. But he seems to just always say, we don't need a centre back. It's going to be fine. But I feel as though we do.
We do need one. I mean, I know Bielsa likes to. He doesn't like to moan. He doesn't like to complain. He likes to get the best out of what he's got. He doesn't want to spend any more money than he has to, which is fair enough because that's kind of Adrizzani's policy as well.
Yeah. But
we do need one.
Yeah. I mean, Bielsa, he said, he don't want too many players. He wants to keep players happy, but. I think another problem as well is if we do buy a centre back in January, if he's going to be a top one, he'd go straight in. You'd think, but you can't really replace anyone in the team at the moment. We need a good quality defender, but we also need someone that can play Bielsa's style of play. And I think that would be difficult to find. Yeah, and I feel as though if we were going to bring in centre back, he'd only be backup, but it's hard to find a backup. A player who wants to be a backup player. Yeah,
nearly all players want to be in the starting 11 or getting fairly regular appearances.
Put this question to you: if you could only buy 2 players in January, who would you go for?
What
in position wise?
Oh, position wise, I thought you meant specific players. I would definitely get. We need a goalkeeper. We need a centre back. Definitely. The rest of the team can cope. Some people are saying we need a winger. A winger would be nice. It's not essential. We don't desperately need a winner. We desperately need a goalkeeper. We've only got one senior goalkeeper.
I'd say goalkeeper definitely, and then for me, it's between a centre back or striker.
Yeah, I definitely have a centre back. We need a centre back. We're just so light. But the striker, we've got Bamford coming back. We've got Izzy Brown in attacking position. We've got several attacking players coming back into the team. We just need more cover at centre back.
Yeah, but that's Liam Cooper and the injury status. It's not all doom and gloom though for Leeds United on the injury front. Izzy Brown and Patrick Bamford, they both played for the Leeds United under-23s last Friday, where they unfortunately lost 2-0 though, of course. Bamford and Brown, they've both been on the sidelines in recent months due to injury. But Bamford, he made his return into Leeds shirt and played 45 minutes. Izzy Brown also played 80 minutes. Both seem to have recovered well and come back quickly, or at least quicker than expected. And it's good to see.
Yeah, we didn't expect him back this soon. Izzy Brown still looks a bit rusty. He needs to get back to his match sharpness and match fitness. I think Bamford might need slightly longer to get back there, but he's looking good. I think they'll be back in. I'd expect him back for the Boxing Day game. I'd expect them both back somewhere near the side.
Yeah, and we discussed this last week with the under-23s, and we'd rather see players come back from injury to get back match fit, and it's what we are seeing. Would you rush them back though over the Christmas period? There
is a lot of games over the Christmas period, and injuries are going to happen, suspensions are going to happen. We need people back fit, Yeah, I would get them back as soon as we can. I wouldn't rush them back per se, but as soon as we can get them back, we need them back.
I guess there's more competition for places now as well.
Yeah, it means it's pushing the attacking players for form. Really, they need to perform, otherwise they can be out of the team. Competition's always good for football players. Yeah, I think if you know you're going to be starting the team every week, regardless of how poorly you play, then there's absolutely no incentive to play well. You can just play your average performance every week. Yeah. So with more attacking options, we'll probably see the performances of the attacking lineup rise, which is good. We can only be good for the team.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're both cracking players as well that are coming back, and it's exciting to see him coming back as well. And Bamford, it was expected to be out a lot longer, but he's obviously coming back quick. Izzy Brown, we haven't seen yet, but I'm excited to see them both.
Yeah, I want to see Bamford get a few games in the team, because we've only really seen him in sub appearances at Derby, a sub appearance at Swansea. He hasn't really appeared much for Leeds. I think he's probably made about maybe less than 120 minutes over the course of his entire Leeds career at this point on the pitch, which it needs to be more, because we do need him. Even though Kamar Roof is doing a really superb job.
Speaking of players returning as well, the news that came out on Friday was that Pawel Cibicki, he has returned to Leeds after his loan spell in Norway ended. So Pawel Cibicki, 24 years old, Swedish forward, of course arrived in the transfer window when we were under Thomas Christiansen. But he only made 3 appearances then, but I was quite impressed with him though. But of course went on loan to Molde at the start of the season in Norway, and made 18 appearances for Molde. Now there was quite a lot of sources saying different for how many appearances he made, but I saw 18, so I'll stick with that. 18 appearances, 5 of which were in the Europa League, and he scored 3 goals and made 4 assists. Not bad, not bad over there. But I mean, I would you like to see him with the team?
Not particularly. I mean, I'd like to see what Bielsa can do with him. I thought when he played for Leeds, I thought he was fairly inconsistent. I mean, he got an assist against Norwich when he whipped the ball in for Ponta's header at home, and I think he got an assist for Roof at QPR away last season. But he was very up and down. He was a bit in the kind of Alioski mould of one week he would turn up, one week he wouldn't, and then
I mean, casting my mind back to last season, I was impressed with him when he first came in. He made, his first game was against QPR. I was impressed with him. When he made a few appearances, and his balls into the box were very good. But I mean, it's another option, though, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Well, we need as many options as we can. But
when you consider the injuries as well.
Yeah. We know that Bielsa doesn't like to have more than a couple of players per position for obvious reasons. Because he doesn't want to. He doesn't like players just sitting around not really contributing to the team. He thinks it's pointless. But I think with the Championship, it might be nice to have him just as someone to call upon should we need them. But it's whether or not he's willing to be that person or whether he'll want to go. I heard that Phil Hay reported that Leeds are willing to listen to offers for him. So that would kind of suggest that we're willing to leave.
Yeah, he's certainly got experience though over when playing for Mould. 5 Europa League experiences, that could do us good, but for me, I can't see him getting into the first team at all. But Bielsa, who knows? He could work his magic on him.
There's always the chance. I mean, there's been a few players who've written off that Bielsa has managed to bring round. Cooper, Phillips, to name a couple. But if Bielsa can turn him into a properly good winger, then why not? Why not? I'm in the team. I'm not prejudiced towards him. I've got nothing against him.
No, I've got nothing against him either.
If he can do a job, then I'm more than happy to see him back in a Leeds shirt.
Yeah. But for me, I can't see him getting into the first team. But like I say, it's another option, and hopefully he can contribute. But like I said, they're looking to get rid of him in January. So that probably likely that we probably won't see him again really play any significant part for Leeds. But he'll probably make a few appearances for the 23s, but probably not massive, significant parts. I guess there's some sad news to report on, though. That's concerning the Leeds United Ladies. Now, they beat the Doncaster Belles 4-3 in the Women's FA Cup on Sunday, which is, of course, a fantastic result, and it's great to see them doing so well. But their team captain, Bridie Hannon, sadly suffered a leg break during the game, which is awful to see, and one hopefully she recovers well and quickly. Now this just put it into perspective for me. Not just with this injury, but with every injury in any sport. 1 minute you play in your sport, what you love to play, doing what you do for a living, but then all of a sudden it could just be over. It's scary to think of. I
mean, it is, but they've got excellent physio departments for the Leeds women as well as the under 23s and the senior men's team. So and. It might end the season, but I don't think it'll have anything worse than that. Leg breaks are horrible. I mean, if you look at Jamal Blackman, he's just broken his. I think he broke his tibia, maybe one of his. Yeah. In his leg. I don't know the exact bone, but yeah, and that's ended his season. But he'll be back playing in no time, and I imagine she will as well. And I know she'll be buzzing to get the win in the Yorkshire Derby, especially in the FA Cup. So
yeah, I mean, it's great to see him doing so well as well. It's another great thing that has happened at Leeds United since Andrea Valzani's took over.
Yeah, it's nice to get the women's team back. I think they were separate to the club for a long time. Leeds have only just reacquired them under Radrazani. They were sold off the women's team to make money for the men's team, which is a shame because it's always nice to run a women's team. But they're doing really well. Every single time I seem to look at Leeds women result, they seem to have won the game like 6 or 7-0. So yeah, there seems to be a good team. Yeah, I'm sure she'll be back in no time. Yeah,
it's great to see women, a women's team at Leeds, and women's football as well. Maybe not be have the biggest best of standards as compared to men's football anyway. But it's still great to watch, and I'm just happy that we do have a women's team. Have you ever been to see them?
I have not been to see them. I've seen highlights of them playing. I've never been down to Thorpe Arch to watch them play, or I've definitely not been to see them away. But I'd look forward to them doing well in the future and hopefully getting quite far in the FA Cup.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our opponents this weekend, QPR. But before we preview this weekend's game, we of course got them in the FA Cup third round draw, which was this past Monday night, and we were drawn away against them. So a trip to Loftus Road for our first FA Cup game this season. So who won in the fourth round, Chelsea?
I think that's a cocky attitude to take. I still can't decide whether I want us to throw that game or not, because I like a cup. I do love a cup run, but I'd so much rather us get to the Premier League than win a cup. And I honestly, I would rather us get promoted than win the FA Cup. So never mind, we've got the fourth round. I would rather have had a Premier League tie, and I would especially rather have had a home tie. But an all-championship clash, that might get on TV, so...
I don't think it will go on TV. It don't really excite me, and I don't think it's a draw many people would have wanted from this. No,
I don't think QPR are happy with it. I don't think Leeds are particularly happy with it. We would have liked one of the big boys, but yeah, it's a reasonable draw. I remember the EFL Cup, we drew two championship teams, didn't we? We drew Bolton at home and then Preston at home. So
yeah, it's funny on Twitter when Leeds United tweeted that out. And the replies to that were hilarious. It was like, just change it to Ellen Road. Isn't that what the small teams do anyway? Make it so you play at the big stadium. I mean, it's not a draw which excites me at all. I don't think it excites anyone. But it's a it's a draw that we could easily win and get through to the fourth round.
Yeah, you'd. I won't say easily win, but you'd certainly fancy our chances. They're not a superb side.
No.
And on our day, we can probably kind of comfortably go past them, but it depends whether we play a few youth players, bench players, or you'd expect us to rest a few. So
especially after a busy Christmas period, you'd expect Bielsa to chuck quite a lot of the kids in.
You would expect so, yeah. Some rotation will be necessary. We can't play the same team every week for a 46-game season plus a cup run. It's just not feasible. It's too many games.
It's like, how many first-team players can go in, though? Because we don't have the biggest of squads.
No, but you'd expect the likes of Lewis Baker to get a game. You'd expect the likes of Jack Harrison to get a game, Tyler Roberts to get a game. These type of players that are in and out of the first team are not really... first 11 regulars.
Yeah, just chuck him maybe under 23s.
Peacock Fowler will have to play. There's no choice around that.
Unless we bring in a goalkeeper on 1st of January, which we'll probably won't see.
It's unlikely, so he'll be playing. Stuart Dallas will probably be playing at right back, and then centre back we're a bit limited.
We got nothing else to play there. Unless Louis Coyle comes back from loan.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, maybe Tom Pace might play left back. Possible.
I'd love to see Tom Pace play left back. It's so unfortunate not being able to see him this season with all the injuries that we've had, especially at full back. And Dallas has come in, and other players have come in to play left back. When there's Tom Pace sitting right there, it's like it must be kicked at gut for him. But it's like I'd love to see Tom Pace play.
Yeah, I don't understand why we were playing Stuart Dallas at left back when we have a ready-made left back in Tom Pace sitting in the academy. He was previously played for the senior team, but. I'm not managing Leeds for a reason. I'm sure Bielsa's got his reasons, experience maybe, but we didn't particularly suffer for Dallas at left back apart from in one or two games. So maybe he made the right choice.
But is this a game that is this a cup that you take seriously? Do you fancy a long cup run, or do you want to win the FA Cup, or do you just think maybe this round, maybe another one or two, and then that'll be it?
I mean, the FA Cup is a more prestigious cup than the EFL Cup. Definitely, it's a more well-regarded trophy. It's great to get a cup, but being realistic, we're not going to win it. And I don't say that as to be a pessimist. We're just not going to win it.
Yeah.
And if we're not going to win it, it's a distraction from the league.
I mean, I'd love to see a small cup run. I'd love to see us go 2 or 3 rounds into it. I don't think this is a game that you just chuck out and be like, all right, it don't matter. We'll rather focus on league. I mean, I'd much rather focus on the league, and FA Cup games, more games to play. Players, if you're playing against big teams, you'll play your first team players and they'll get tired and stuff. But I mean, I'd like to see us go a few games in.
Yeah, you'd like to think we get to the 5th round.
Yeah, see us against a Premier League team.
Yeah, as long as because it's so many games if you play in the cup as well. Because
Yeah.
you get some weeks where if you weren't in the cup, you'd get a week's rest, and instead you've got a 3-game week, and you'd rather have the
especially with replays as well.
Yeah, that's I think they should scrap replays.
Yeah.
What they do in the EFL Cup, they do.
No, but I get replays though, because it's like for non-league teams, those are so massive for them because they'll be making a lot more money, which is well needed for them. But for big teams, replays are unnecessary.
Well, yeah, what they do in EFL Cup is they used to have extra time and then penalties instead of replays, but now they don't do extra time. They literally go do 90 minutes and then straight to penalties. And if they introduce that in the FA Cup, there'd be far less fatigue in the teams in the higher leagues.
Yeah. I mean, you'd probably just make it go straight to penalties. I'm fed up of extra time now. I don't like extra time. But yeah, much rather us focus on the league. But like I said, I'd love us to get a few rounds, get a Premier League team, maybe a big boy Premier League team.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And see where we stand as well. Because if we are wanting to focus on the league and get promotion this season, it'll be nice to see where we stand amongst the others in the Premier League. But yeah, you'd expect Bielsa to chuck a load of kids out, and yeah, so. Probably a win, though. We'll probably win that.
Yeah, you'd expect us to win it, but it's still away. It's down south. It'll be a long trip in winter. It'll be players staying overnight in a hotel, most likely.
Yeah.
But if we played a strong enough team, they've got a young team. They've got a very leaky defence, one of the leakiest defences in the league. I mean, they're scoring goals, but they're conceding a lot of goals. So you'd expect us to go there and do a job, but.
Yeah. Well, of course, we got QPR on Saturday. That's at Ellen Road. Another 3 p.m. kickoff, would you believe?
I wouldn't.
2 3 p.m. kickoffs at home in a row.
It's
oh, well, no, not in a row. Two out of the last 3 p.m. kickoffs at Ellen Road.
Crazy. I mean, usually we're on at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night. It's ridiculous because that's the time Sky can fit us in.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's nice. Everyone likes the 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff.
Yeah.
Nobody likes.
There's plenty of time to get ready, get a few drinks in, and head on now. Take that. Plenty of time.
Nobody likes getting up at 9 o'clock in the morning to go down to a football game.
Yeah, no one likes leaving at 9 o'clock at night for a football game.
No.
Football game from 5:30 kickoff. But again, cocky attitude. But you expect 3 points.
You would. We're in good form. 4 wins out of the last 5. I think they've had 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats in their last 5. I think that's their form. They are the most inconsistent side in the league at QPR. They win 1 week, lose the next. I just hope this is one of the weeks where they lose.
Yeah. QPR, though, I mean, they're really one of the most inconsistent sides of the league. I mean, it started so poor this season, but Steve McClaren and QPR seem to have turned it around. They're currently in 11th place in the table, 6 points off the playoffs, but they lost the last game 3-2 at home against Hull City. So, I mean, they are inconsistent, aren't they?
Yeah, but if you look at that, they were quite good in that game, actually. It took, I think, Jared Bowen for Hull got 2 goals and an assist, so he had a bit of a masterclass. And they still managed to put 2 past Hull, so... I mean, I know Hull are a poor side. As we played them early in the season, they were very average. But if they can create chances and score, they might get 1 past us. But we're going to have to start well, and I think we need the first goal.
Yeah. QPR, they'll be well up for it. They'll 6 points off the playoffs. They'll want to maybe try and get a push to the playoffs. It's so weird saying that. When looking at the start of their season, seasons that they had at the beginning of the season, their form was so poor, bottom of the table, but they've clawed their way back up. Credit to them as well. Yeah,
because you get a lot of teams that just give up, like Ipswich. They've pretty much just given up. I mean, I don't mean to be horrible there, but they have. They've given
so
up.
Poor this season.
They're 6 points away from 23rd place. They are adrift. They're almost as far away from 23rd place as Norwich are away from 3rd place.
Yeah, I always say momentum's key in this division. We're of course going into it with 3 wins, and they're going into it on the back of that poor home loss against Hull where they lost 3-2. So if forms say one thing, Leeds are probably the outstanding favourites for this Saturday's game.
Yeah, I think Steve McClaren has had some good performances at Leeds in the past, though. I mean, other than in the Monk season where he came here with Derby and we trampled all over him for 90 minutes and still only managed to walk away with a 1-0 victory, which I have still no idea how that happened to this day. But he's turned up in the past with some good teams. and they played well. But you'd expect us to get the 3 points.
Yeah, and hopefully got 4 wins in a row. 4 games unbeaten, 4 clean sheets as well, hopefully. But it's crucial that we do pick up 3 points this weekend, because not only do we stay up there, stay in the top 2, but if you look at our next few games, this game against QPR on Saturday, and then next week against Bolton, which we'll of course preview in next week's podcast. But these are games where you need to pick up maximum points when you consider that we got Aston Villa away on the 23rd.
Yeah, these are must wins. If we get 6 points out of the next 2 games, we can, a bit like with the Sheffield Wednesday game where we got 2 wins before it. Not the Sheffield Wednesday game, the Sheffield United game. We got 2 wins before it. Then we can kind of take the Aston Villa game as a bit of a free hit. We can go down there thinking anything we get here is a good result, and you never know, we might pull off a similar performance to Sheffield United. Yeah,
I'm looking at the fixtures that we have coming up. We don't have a terrible run into the end of the year. We got QPR at home and Bolton away. The hardest game of all, Aston Villa away. And then we've got Blackburn at home and then Hull City at home. So looking at all of them, 13 points probably for the minimum you'd want.
That's what you'd want, but that's not how the Championship unfortunately works. But
every game's a hard game in the Championship.
Blackburn they beat us at their place, and they were pretty good. Dak was good.
He might leave in January as well. I've heard rumours that.
Danny Graham's a good player. He scores a lot of goals. So it will. We need to do a better job on him this time. Hopefully, we'll have more players back from injury, and we can have put in a better performance. You'd want 13 points if we want to stay in the top 2. We need 13 points.
But if we lose against Villa, which is a hard game, and that could be likely if we could lose against Villa, it is what it is. That Villa game, if we get a draw, I'd take it. If we get a win, brilliant. If we lose, then we move on. We move on. But we don't have decent. We don't have that hard of a run into the end of the year. It's after New Year where it gets difficult for Leeds.
I've seen that.
There's Derby at home, Stoke away, Rotherham away, which isn't easy, and then Norwich at home, which could be a big one. That's the beginning of February, and Middlesbrough away, Swansea at home. I'll just keep on scrolling down. It's just so hard at the turn of a year. But going into the new year, you want 30 points minimum.
I would absolutely love it if that Norwich game in the start of February ended up being like a bit of a season definer for one club, or hopefully for us, but for one club or the other. Yeah. If we're both still in the top 2,
and hopefully we're both, especially us. Hopefully we're quite far off the playoffs as well. Hopefully like a lot more higher.
Yeah, if we're a bit high flying and we're a few points clear, then we can go into that game as a proper kind of a bit like like Liverpool, Man City. Like whoever wins that game at the Etihad later in the season, they're going to get a big jump on their rival. Yeah. If that's the case with us and Norwich, and we get the 3 points at Ellen Road, then we might overtake them.
Yeah. Well, so I've got all the topics I've got. Is there anything else you want to go over?
Not particularly. We've got to leave some content for next week, don't we?
You got any tips for the viewers of what you want to leave them with? Any tips?
Any tips?
Yeah.
Don't bet on Leeds.
Don't bet on Leeds. I mean, I do bet on Leeds for games that you think we could win, but never bet against Leeds. Never bet against.
No,
if you're not going to put a bet on a Leeds game, don't do it. But if you are going to put a bet on a Leeds game, don't bet against Leeds.
No, I've never bet against Leeds. I don't believe in it. I think it's a bit of a snaky move to bet against the club you support, but some people do.
I mean, I'm not a better, but
no, I'm not a betting man either.
I'd say Leeds are probably well worth it though for anyone who does fancy it. But yeah, I guess that brings us to the end of this podcast, episode 2 of the podcast. Well, it went quite well, Charles.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Same time again next week.
Same time again.
So thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you to anyone who has liked and subscribed and downloaded this podcast, wherever you're listening. I really do appreciate it. But don't forget, if you are brand new listening to the podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow All Things Leeds across all social media platforms. That's where you'll find quite a lot of content, because I do post on social media every day, or at least I try to anyway. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and share the podcast as well. Help us out and get this podcast out there, and share it with anyone who you can. But yeah, appreciate everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.